The petition by Raila Odinga challenging Uhuru Kenyatta's election as president was received and cleared by the office of the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary. Odinga's lead lawyer is George Oraro of Oraro and Company Advocates. The respondents in the petition are the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, the Commission's chair Ahmed Isaac Hassan, President-elect Uhuru Kenyatta, and Deputy President-elect William Ruto. Odinga wants the results to be set aside. He wants the declaration of Kenyatta as president-elect and Ruto as deputy president-elect nullified, and the whole electoral process leading to that declaration also nullified, as the process was marred by irregularities.
There is no crime higher than subverting the outcome of a presidential election. What we are seeing in this electoral battle is the hidden struggle between the forces of change and the forces of status quo.
Odinga claims to have evidence that will prove that the voter register was severely altered. Odinga says that on election day, the register reflected the total number of registered voters as 14,352,533, well above the total number of registered voters at the date of closing of the registration exercise. He explains that in February 2013, the IEBC had announced that it had discovered about 20,000 double registrations and accordingly reduced the register tally to 14,267,572 voters as displayed on its website. Odinga concludes that the illegally inflated register exceeded the corrected figure by some 85,000 voters. He argues that increasing the number of registered voters was intended to permit the IEBC to manipulate the presidential election. Still on the credibility of the election, the petitioner argues that the malfunctioning of biometric voter identification and the electronic voter transmission system deprived Kenyans of their legitimate expectation of a new electoral dispensation that was devoid of opportunities for manipulation, thereby irreparably undermining the entire process. Odinga says in the petition that he has evidence to prove that IEBC allowed a call center by the name KenCall to co-host both its server and that of the TNA, which compromised the integrity of the electoral process, as that made TNA to access confidential information.
That the TNA had access to information that should have been confidential to the IEBC alone.
Odinga claims that the systems adopted by IEBC were so poorly selected, designed, and implemented that they were destined to fail from inception to the knowledge of IEBC. The petitioner has presented exhibits showing that votes cast exceeded the number of registered voters in Tiati, Laisamis, Igembe Centro, Buri, Chuka, Lari, Kapenguria, Saboti, Tarbo, Marakwet West, Kajiado West, Bomet East, Mount Elgon, Langata, and Aldai. The petitioner has exhibits of more than 2 from 36 reflecting different returns. They include Kikuyu, Juja, Chuka, and Thika constituencies. The court petition claims that in Webuye East constituency, Odinga's votes were 20,932, whilst the figure announced at Bomas was only 16,461 votes. In Nakuru County, they claim the number of votes for Kenyatta was inflated by 3,796. In Kiambaa and Limuru, the petitioner claims there are alterations in Form 36 without acknowledgement. Alex Chamwada for Citizen Weekend.